Hello, Chris back. So today I wanted to talk about chronic pain. I have had chronic pain since I was a small child. I thought it was normal that when kids laid down, their back hurt so bad that they cried themselves to sleep. Obviously not normal. Normal if you have Ehlers-Danlos like myself, but I didn't know that at the time. And so as a small child, the first tool that I actually learned to use was one that I still use today, and my main tool for controlling my pain, which is mental control. So I created a safe space within my mind where I could put physical and emotional pain so that I didn't have to have all of it at one time. Anytime that this has broken down, which has been a couple times, so as was suggested for pain management was marijuana. Not a good plan. It actually broke down all those barriers, so I was not able to control my pain. And because of that, I felt everything at once. So I know for me that medications are not a route that I want to take. I also have mitochondrial disease, which makes it so that I metabolize medication very quickly, including my daily steroids that I take for my Addison's disease. So I know that a pain medication would only work for a very short period of time. So I found alternate ways to manage my pain. So it's kind of like if you think of Sherlock Holmes and the memory palace, it's a little bit like that. It's just a safe space within my mind that I created and have built upon over the years to safely hold the stuff that is just too much to deal with at one time. Another way that I do this is through breathing. Controlling your breath and knowing where your breath is coming from is really important. So belly breathing is obviously the best breathing. If we're doing shallow breathing, quick shallow breaths, we're going to feel our pain more. So we want to breathe deeply from the belly and really focus. For me, I close my eyes and I can really focus on where the pain is and how I can control it better. I am doing neurofeedback. Later in this video, I'll show you my headset. So I use the Muse headset with the MindLift program, and I'm doing the chronic pain program currently through there. They have ones for sleep, for trying to get rid of a smoking addiction, anything like that. They have all sorts of different programs, and I'm finding it super helpful. Bracing and splints, and I'll show you some of those later in the video as well. I have lots of different braces and splints. If there's a joint, I probably have a brace or a splint for it, and that just keeps subluxations or dislocations from happening, and that way I can avoid pain before it comes, which is obviously going to be very helpful. I have all sorts of really cool tools that I know I am very fortunate to be able to get. So things like hand wax pots, where you can dip your hands in hot wax, which really helps with my osteoarthritis. I have a foot bath for the osteoarthritis in my feet, heated blankets, heated foot pads, back massagers, all of those kind of tools that you can get. And most of these you can get off of Amazon. A lot of them you can get prescriptions for and get covered through insurance if you are lucky enough to have insurance like that. Diet is another huge one. So cherry extract really helps with inflammation. And so I take cherry every day. Also, a Mediterranean diet is great. Recently, I have become unable to digest any animal protein of any kind. So eggs or meat is completely out for me now. So I am 100% vegan. I am also celiac, so I am gluten-free, and I am obviously going to be dairy-free as well. I try and keep low on the sugars that I consume as well. I do baking myself so that I can control how much sugar goes in it. I don't deny myself stuff if I want something, if I really want something, but I have to make it myself. So I have to want to put the effort in to make it, and then I can control how much sugar is in it. They say the best way is to have, a small treat each day versus having a cheat day, because then you really go all out on a cheat day. And I found diet has been huge in helping with pain control. My bed, which I will show you later in this video, is magic. And it is a wonderful Sonicare medical bed, and I can adjust it. So it has this weird little like S shape that makes it so that my knees aren't hurting at night and my feet aren't hurting as much. I still have pain all the time, but it's less, and it also helps with my CPAP working better. So I'm not waking up as much. It helps with my POTS. It helps with so many different things that it's an amazing tool to have. The more sleep you get, the better you feel, right? The bath is amazing for helping. Anytime I'm in water is when I have the least amount of pain. But be careful, make sure you can get out of the bathtub. So if you have trouble with your joints, you probably want an aid of some kind. Do not buy ones that come with suction cups. I tell you this from experience, they are not awesome. They will eventually release and you will fall. When I get to my new house, I will have a stair lift, so I won't have to do as many stairs, which will be magic for my knees and my hips. And anything that can help you reduce the amount of wear and tear on your joints is obviously going to help with pain control and pain avoidance, which is the ultimate goal, is to avoid having the pain in the first place. I have a lot of aids that I use depending on when I need them. So walker, cane, walking sticks, those sorts of things. I have a magical partner who massages me frequently and knows how to put my things back in when they pop out. So my ribs pop out on the regular and she knows how to massage them back in. You can use a roller to put any of your joints back in if they come out, but I'd highly recommend you have somebody like a physiotherapist or a physiatrist show you how to do that first before you try that on yourself. Same with exercise. So I will show you some of the exercise equipment that I'm currently using, and they're all magical and they all work great. And same with all the stretches that I do, but they have been prescribed, right? So I had my physiotherapist tell me what works and what doesn't work for me, because you can't just start using your equipment and hope that it's going to work for you. You need to make sure you're doing what works for your body. And everybody, no matter if I'm talking to 100 people who have Ehlers-Danlos, all of us will have different needs. So you need to make sure it is really targeted for you, so you're doing the right thing for your body. For me, I do an hour to an hour and a half on either my recumbent bike or my trike. The trike is safer for me because I fracture very easily. So if I fall off of a bike, I fracture. If I fall off a trike, I get bruised. Not so bad. And then I do a half an hour dog walk, and then I do 45 minutes of stretching and stuff. And exercise has been huge for controlling my pain. Another thing is setting limits and boundaries. I am still working on this, very much so. I push myself pretty hard, but at the same time, you have to do the things that you love. I love things like hiking. So for me, I know I'm going to pay for about 3 days after I go for a hike, and that's a consequence I'm willing to deal with because it's something that I love. Your mental health is an important part of your pain control as well. And then therapy. So that leads right into the next thing. Is I have a therapist for my Mind Lift program for my my neurofeedback, and then I have another therapist that I use for all the other stuff, because having chronic pain is taxing. It really is. It is exhausting, and that's a big difference, is the difference between being tired and being exhausted. And exhaustion you can't sleep off, it's always there, and so you need coping skills to deal with that, and it goes hand in hand with chronic pain. And I know that I'm so lucky to have access to the things that I do, to have a good insurance plan, to have enough money to afford all of these things. And if you don't, there are other tips and tricks that you can do, things like using bricks under your mattress to elevate your mattress. There are so many things on the internet, different ways to adapt. A lot of splinting and stuff like that you can purchase for pretty cheap off of places like Amazon and even Walmart, and that kind of places will have a lot of that kind of stuff. But I highly recommend you get somebody to help you figure out exactly what you need, and get, you know, the proper prescriptions and stuff if you can. And hopefully some of those tips and tricks will help you with chronic pain if that's from something you suffer from, or help somebody else you know and love. Thanks, guys. These are some of the exercise tools that I use. So there's the roller and the recumbent bike and the vibration machine, or as my youngest calls it, the butt jiggler. And then there's things like bracing. So these are my knee braces. I have my AFOs on and other bracing as well. So at nighttime, I wear hand braces and a chin strap with my lovely CPAP here. And I have foot bracing for my osteoarthritis in my toes. There's heat pads, all of those kind of tools to help me. And then there's my magical bed. So this is a hospital bed, a fancier hospital bed. And this can conform to the shape. So this is roughly set up to how I would sleep. So with my feet up and a bit of a curve and probably a little bit more of a tilt on the back there. This is my MindLift headset. So it's made by Muse, and then I use the MindLift program with the sensor in here, and this just attaches to your head. And things like this also helps. I can set up my phone while I'm doing my MindLift, and all of these different tools really help me manage my pain.